I never thought I'd be the type of person to end up in a toxic relationship. Honestly, I believed I was too strong, too self-aware to fall into that trap. But the moment I met him, everything felt electric and new, like the start of something incredible. The kind of connection you read about in books, the one where your heart races and your mind spins. I was convinced he was different, that maybe, just maybe, this time it would be real. At first, he was charming in a way that made me feel special. He listened intently, remembered tiny details about me, and made me feel like I was the only person that mattered. But as the weeks passed, subtle things started to slip through the cracks. A comment here, a dismissive gesture there. I brushed it off, telling myself I was overthinking. After all, no one is perfect, right? The first argument was a revelation. It wasn't about what we fought over, but how he made me feel afterward, small, unheard, like I was the problem for even daring to disagree. That night, I cried myself to sleep, wondering if I was crazy for feeling hurt when he promised to love me. But deep down, something had shifted. I just didn't know what yet. As time went on, his words became sharper, laced with criticism disguised as jokes or concerns. He'd call me too sensitive or dramatic when I tried to express my feelings. Every time I confronted him, he flipped it around, making me apologize for being upset. It was exhausting. I started doubting myself, questioning if I really was overreacting or if I was just broken. The isolation crept in slowly. Friends who once called me daily stopped reaching out, and I stopped returning their texts. It was easier to just stay home where I didn't have to explain or defend myself. He'd say things like, "They don't understand us," or "They're jealous of what we have." I believed him. I wanted to believe him. One night, after a particularly harsh fight, I found myself sitting on the bathroom floor, tears streaming down my face, clutching my phone. I had typed out a message to my best friend, begging for help, but I deleted it before sending. The shame was overwhelming. How did I get here? How did someone I loved make me feel so worthless? The turning point came unexpectedly. I found an old journal from before I met him, filled with dreams and hopes I'd once had. Reading those pages, I barely recognized myself. I realized I had stopped dreaming, stopped believing in my own worth. That night, I made a decision, silent but fierce. I needed to reclaim myself, even if it meant walking away. Breaking up wasn't a dramatic explosion or a final shouting match. It was quiet, tense, filled with awkward silences and unspoken accusations. He begged me to stay, promising to change, but I had heard those promises before. This time I said no. The strength I didn't know I had surged through me, and I walked out, leaving everything behind. The aftermath was a storm of conflicting emotions. Relief mixed with grief, freedom tangled with loneliness. I questioned if I'd made a mistake, if I was too harsh or too hurried. But every time doubt crept in, I reminded myself of the small daily moments of peace I felt without his presence, the quiet mornings, the unpressured evenings. Healing wasn't linear. Some days I felt empowered and proud, others I was overwhelmed by memories and what-ifs. I sought therapy, poured my heart into writing, and slowly rebuilt my network of friends who welcomed me back with open arms. With each step, the weight on my chest lightened, though scars remained, reminders of the battle I fought. What shocked me most was how hard it was to let go of the idea of what I wanted us to be. Loving someone doesn't always mean they love you the way you deserve. I had to grieve not just the relationship, but the future I imagined with him. That loss was painful, but necessary, like shedding skin to grow anew. Now when I look back, I see the red flags I missed or ignored. The gaslighting, the controlling behavior disguised as care, the constant undermining of my confidence. I wish I had recognized them sooner, but I also understand how easy it is to get trapped when you're emotionally invested and hopeful. I share this story not because I want pity or to dredge up old wounds, but because I want others to see that walking away is an act of courage, not defeat. Toxic relationships don't have to define us. We can choose to reclaim our stories, to heal, and to love ourselves fiercely and unapologetically. Even now, I'm learning to trust again, not just others, but myself, to listen to my instincts and honor my needs without guilt. It's a daily practice, and some days are harder than others, but every step forward is a victory. I'm still a work in progress, but I'm proud of the journey I'm on. Sometimes, when the memories hit unexpectedly, I remind myself that I survived, that I walked away when staying would have meant losing myself completely, and that's something no one can take away from me. My story isn't finished. It's just another chapter in the ongoing pursuit of peace and self-love. I hope anyone reading this who feels trapped knows they're not alone, that it's okay to put yourself first, to say no, and to choose freedom over fear. Toxic doesn't mean permanent, and healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means reclaiming your life on your own terms. Every day I remind myself that I deserve kindness, respect, and genuine love, not because I'm perfect, but because I'm worthy. That worthiness was buried under years of doubt and pain, but it's rising again, stronger than ever, and I'm committed to protecting it no matter what. Walking away was the hardest thing I've ever done, not because I didn't love him, but because I had to love myself more. That realization was both terrifying and liberating. It taught me that true strength isn't about endurance alone. Sometimes it's about knowing when to let go. So here I am, sharing my story, messy and unfinished, because healing is a journey without a neat ending. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just keep moving forward, one uncertain step at a time.